Hi, Tony.
Hey, everyone. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here.
Hey.
It's been a long time since I've seen so many of you. It's great to see you all. Hey, thank you all. It's great. I'll start taking questions one by one, and I'll get everyone. I'm going to stay as late as I can. So please, just one by one. Who's first? Go.
I want to know, why did you feel the need to cut the promo you did on Nick Khan and WWE about New Japan?
I talked to New Japan, and I asked them if they thought it would be a good idea and a good promo, and they thought it was great, and I thought it would be a great promo, and so it made sense, and it was going into a big weekend for us, so it's true. And we have a lot of stuff going in New Japan, and everyone's welcome to talk to each other in the wrestling business, but we've done some great stuff with New Japan just in the last few weeks, and I think we're going to do a lot of great things going forward from everything we've talked about and agreed to, so I'm excited about it.
Do you ever have an ongoing dialogue with anybody in WWE? Is there like friendly banter?
I think there's been, some little stuff. It's mostly, I think, back channel stuff. Like the thing with a good example is like with Chris ended up on the Broken Skull sessions. Chris and Steve had talked, and I think both sides checked. I think Steve talked to the people that run WWE, and Chris talked to me, so it was good.
Tony, can you take us through the conversation with Urban Meyer having the stadium Stampede?
Hey, Austin.
How's it going, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
So in the office, which you've been in as a former Jags player, now a great member of the wrestling media here in your home of Jacksonville, it's actually in the coaching offices, the old office that you would have known at the time, this head coach's office. I was in there and we were catching up, and it was at the end of a night, and I asked him if he would mind, and before we both split and went home for the night, I had a big favor to ask, and he said, what is it? And I asked him if he could make a little bit of time for me, and he said, absolutely, what can I do for you? And I asked him, and he said, absolutely, I would do that for you. And then he went above and beyond, and he was so gracious and really fun to work with, and he's a great coach and a great man. Thanks for asking.
We just saw the reveal of new AEW, which is very exciting, and I think you all agree that caters to a certain crowd, which is kids, preteens, and teenagers. Have you ever thought about extending that demographic into teenagers?
How do you mean? Sorry, I don't mean.
Like almost like maybe starting a kid show, starting something that no other brand has, because nobody really reaches out to the kids yet.
It's a really good question, and I think I have thought about that, how to reach that demographic, and I'm trying to make young stars and do things that are, going to appeal to that demographic. We have the youngest demographic in wrestling right now, but you're absolutely right that we should be trying to skew younger all the time, and it's a really good thought. Thank you. I'll think about that.
Tony, with Mark Henry being
It was indescribable, and I have to say, for each match, without going through each of the 10 matches tonight, 1 on the buy-in and 9 on the pay-per-view card, I would say that, like, each of them, it was so much energy, the buzz of the entire locker room, and the people in the match, the wrestlers coming back from these awesome wrestling matches, and the crowd that they hadn't seen in so long. And we've had great crowds coming in at 25%. We've had a lot of times what you saw, we've had 25% of that here for some great shows. And, we really appreciate that, but being back at 100%, it's indescribable, and the energy, and everyone coming, including all of you, it just really means a lot. So it's great to have the fans back, and I thought it was one of our best shows, and to do it with that crowd, one of our best crowds. What's become our home base before we go back on the road in July, just a month really, it's after midnight, so next month, we're going back on the road. So I'm really, I'm really excited. I guess we got another day, but whatever. Close enough. I've been a little over a month away from going back on the road. There's so many great memories here in Daly's place and special things we've done here. So it meant a lot to do it here. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about all the great times we spent here with the crowd through the pandemic, and some of the best memories ever in AEW. And the one thing I wish that the person who'd seen this and the person who got to see this is Brody. And I think this probably ranks as one of the 2 most emotional shows we've had, second only, of course, to the Brody Lee tribute show. And last year he was in the world title match with Double Nothing and had such a great match. And that was the first show when we let some family and friends that we tested in, and we had a tested bubble crowd and distance, and it was nothing like this. But he had a great match in a very small crowd, and I just wish he could have been here tonight. But thank you for asking. It was indescribably great.
Tony, some of those great moments we saw tonight came from Cassidy in particular. The metamorphosis of him and being able to get an entire audience like that, to take a character like that seriously as a main eventer, what is his secret sauce and how have you guys tapped into it?
He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and I've been really keeping it under wraps, and that was the plan. I've talked about this in interviews before, and he doesn't talk much in interviews, so I've said it. The first year, 2019, the plan was for Orange Cassidy not to wrestle at all, other than like spots and matches as like an active manager and like a few six-mans, where we introduced the idea that Orange Cassidy was a wrestler. He's a brilliant wrestler. He's not going to say any of this, just give himself credit or toot his own horn, so to speak, but he's like awesome. And the plan for me that nobody knew about, and really even he didn't completely maybe understand, is for Revolution. I was building to him and Pac. We actually did a six-man in like late 2019 in Texas on Dark, and it was Pac and TH2, Jack Evans and Angelico, versus the Best Friends. And I was getting B-roll, and when Pac wrestled Trent on Dynamite, I was getting B-roll of like Orange and Pac. And nobody thought after the 30-minute Iron Man match plus overtime that Kenny Omega and Pac had in Kansas City just a few days before Revolution in 2020, that like nobody believed that after Pac was out there yelling at Tony Schiavone, I was really upset. Nobody believed that Orange Cassidy was going to walk out. And I was upstairs getting barbecue like 2 hours before the show with Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends and Tony Schiavone. And I told them this entire crowd in Kansas City is going to change. He's going to try. He's going to try. Just watch the setup. It's going to happen based on everything we put in place. Totally worked. And I knew the match was going to be off the chain. And it's one of my, again, I would rank that, other than the shows I named, probably my top 3 emotional and really favorite shows is Revolution 2020 and the match he had with Pac. And tonight, I think, was the best match since then. And no coincidence, the first time he's wrestled in a big match with a crowd since Revolution 2020. And what's amazing is the character completely developed in the pandemic, and that's the challenge. And I remember we were doing the tapings, the famous tapings, where I, was forced like on literally minutes, like a few minutes, to put together a booking sheet for like weeks of television, like at least over a month, when we were going to shut down, set up a testing plan, come back in May, and hopefully set up the safe Double or Nothing we did last year in the bubble. And like he was, setting up his first singles match, which was against Jimmy Havoc, and against him on Dynamite, and it was the first time Orange Cassidy ever wrestled on Dynamite. It was only the second time he wrestled a singles match, and it was really like kind of almost like I don't know if he was ready to do it. I think he thought it was too soon maybe, but we really needed him to step up and do it. We were like thin on talent. It was really important. What's happened in the last like 13 months since then is like he's wrestled Chris Jericho on pay-per-view main events and TV main events. It's been in main events with Pac, MJF. Time after time he stepped up, and he was one of the best wrestlers in the world, and I can't say enough about Orange Cassidy.
Tony.
You're
Yeah.
talking about Sting's return.
Yeah.
And Mark Henry as a new acquisition with AEW. How it came up?
Sorry, I can't.
Mark Henry's new acquisition with you. AEW. How it came up?
Oh, how it came up? Well, Mark Henry and I are friends, and Mark told me he was available and to do things that I would be really interested in doing, and I thought that would be really interesting because he's not only a good friend, but he's a really respected person in the wrestling business. Not just a great wrestler, but a great mind, a great scout, and a great analyst in wrestling. And he gives his opinions on the radio, but he provides great scouting reports, and he really has helped mentor a lot of wrestlers, in addition to just being a great wrestling mind. And I think he can be a great on-air personality, but also a great backstage influence, and he's a great friend and a great person. So it's just great to have Mark in the AEW family, and it was great to announce it on such a special show and have it kind of be there as a great moment right there, along with a double, sandwich there in a big double main event on what is, my favorite pay-per-view we've done.
Tony, wait,
sorry. It's what I'm. One second.
Tonight we saw two champions being proud from Kurt Baker to Hangman Adam Page. What has it been like to see those two superstars just grow throughout the years of AEW?
It's really cool because I think January 1st, when we came here into Daly's Place, we did a show January 1st of 2020, and it was really pivotal character show for both of them because that was where Britt, in the 4-way world title match, she didn't win the title, but she started to show a dark side, and then later, just weeks later on the Jericho Cruise, she talked about Tony Schiavone's previous employment at Starbucks and kind of belittled him, which led to a lot of great character interaction and friendship between them, and it's a really big deal now. And Britt grew as a character, but then it really in the last year, Britt grew as a wrestler. And when she says the thing in the promo that that Sheeta